What's up, everybody? I'm back again with another qualified interview. Man, this sports series has been amazing, and today will be no different. Today, I have a very special guest, somebody that I got to meet during my time here at Mizzou, and she's going to do some really big things. So I'll let her introduce herself, a little bit, and then we'll get right to the interview. But please let the people know who you are.
All right, I'm Carrie Shephard. I'm from Still, Missouri. And I met Qual when I was at Mizzou, hooping at the rec.
Hooping at the rec. Yeah, man, no, there was some good times, man. But yeah, we'll start from the beginning. So of course, you had came here, you originally came to Missouri to play ball. So where did that love for basketball first begin? Like, when did you know, yeah, I'm in love with this sport. I wanna play this sport for the rest of my life or try to make it professionally?
It's kind of crazy because when I was younger, I always wanted to be a lawyer. Because I had so many family members in and out of jail, and I wanted to help them, help my family. It was all about that. Then, like, my PE teacher, he put me into sports, and I was just like, okay, cool, I'll play. And I remember watching Like Mike, and I'm like, I want to be like that, do something like that, be like Calvin Cambridge. And then I got to like fourth grade, scoring like 20 points in the Little League game. And they're like, hey, you're really good. You can probably go to college. And I was like, all right, cool, I'm good with it. I was like, I ain't got to pay for it, so let's keep working with it. And did that. I was like the manager, and I was in junior high for like the older girls, and I looked up to a lot of girls, and just tried to model what I saw. And then once I got to like ninth grade, finished my freshman year in high school, a lady saw me at like a church picnic, and she introduced me to this guy in AAU. And even through all that, I was blessed and fortunate to not pay a dime. There's people who took care of me, made sure I had a place to stay and everything. And my job was to basically hoop, be who I am and hoop. And that got me a scholarship offer from the University of Missouri, which I had no idea there was a Mizzou. And I'm living in Missouri all my life. I'm like, what's that? Accepted that, and then I went from small town of barely 2,000 to Columbia. So
Yeah, big difference. But yeah, speak on your time while you were in Columbia. That first year, did you have any expectations coming in? Did you what was your goal? You would say when you was like, okay, like this is where I'm going. What am I trying to do in that first year? What am I trying to accomplish?
That first year, obviously, I was looking to like make an impact and also try to feel out how they play and everything. Because mind you, like I didn't even know what a Mizzou was, so like just getting adjusted to like how they do things and how I fit into that. And so, which was kind of crazy because like the first year it started off kind of slow, and then I actually started to play a little bit. And before you knew it, I had like I thought I had shin splints. It turns out that I had fractures, like 3 fractures in my shin. So that kind of set me back and basically ended up missing the rest of the season. And so then I'm like, okay, well, it's back to the grind, and I got a chance to do something next year. Let's see how that plays out. It did turn out the way that I wanted to, and it didn't fit with like my style of play. It's like I understand what's going on here, but where does my style of play fit in at, And like there'll be times she'll like, go in, we need a bucket. I'm like, okay, cool, I can do that. But it's just like I worked hard and I knew I wanted more. And so I knew, and it's also kind of hard being like 5 hours, 7 hours away from home, 5 to 7 hours away from home. So my family's really not there. Besides like my family that's in Columbia, but I was like, yeah, I mean, like this is cool, this is great, but this isn't what I want it to be. This isn't what my path I feel like should be. So I knew probably like by December, like I prayed about it and I left it there. I just kept working, and left on a positive note. Like I still got ties there. I could cut in Columbia whenever I want, get in the gym, do whatever the case may be. And now I got me a ring on the way. So I safe to say I made the right decision.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely real. But so speak to when you transferred, where you transferred, and what that experience was like. Because I never, knew about it. I mean, we see a lot of college athletes transfer all the time, but what is that process really like for the athlete? You're going to a completely different program, and of course, you have hopes and beliefs that you're going to a program that fits you better than the one you're leaving. But it's still somewhat of uncertainty because you're not there yet. You haven't played with those players and you haven't been under those coaches yet. So just explain more so of that transfer process.
So I ended up transferring to Southeast Missouri State University. Most people know it as SEMO. It's a lot closer to home where I'm from. It's like an hour and 15. So they actually recruited me when I was coming up, but I didn't really like the atmosphere that they had at the time, and I wasn't going to put myself in that kind of position. So I knew a couple of the girls that were on that team. The coach was new, like the whole coaching staff ended up being new. They had some experiences in Baylor and all kind of other big schools. And my trainer, like my skills trainer, he's from Cape Girardeau as well. So I'm like, look, it's a good place to play. You know, it's D1. My family can come watch. My trainer's there. Everything I need is right, you know, right there. If something happens to mom, I'm close. So I made that transfer so that next year I had to sit out, obviously. So I practiced and everything. Just it was kind of cool though, that just getting to see how everything is from the background, how you watch a game, see how they play, their style of play. And I remember talking to like the head coach, Coach P here at SEMO, and she was just like, I don't promise players playing time, I promise a degree, but I do reward hard work. And so, I just basically took what she was saying and I asked the players, how do you think this is? And so, I ended up making that commitment. And so I'll go through that redshirt year. And the next following year, when, preseason about to come up. And I remember it was all in August 15th, I believe. It was like the last drill, very first play of the game, and boom, tore everything in my knee. So I was like, well, that's, this is the year I get to finally play. So I had to sit that year out, but spoke with the compliance guy, and we were able to get that year back and that year at Mizzou that I didn't play, able to get those years back. So I still get my 2 years, 2 years here. So I went through that process and road to recovery. In that first year, I already setting records shooting three, so it wasn't too bad.
Not too bad. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely how I remember you. I mean, I remember seeing you in the red for the first time, and like when I came, like of course, like I'm the nigga from Milwaukee, so everybody's like, Milwaukee, they got hoopers from there. Like, what is this? It's so I just always came in with a chip on my shoulder. But like whenever you was just coming in, like, cause y'all were coming in, it wasn't like y'all was like playing for real. Y'all was just trying to get y'all runs and just get some, get up and down the court. But still, I'm like, yo, like, Shorty got mad handles. Like, what's going? Like, why she working niggas like this? Then it was like, oh, you leave her open, she gonna knock it down like that. Like, that's Let me run with her a couple times right quick just to get these wins. But speak to what, especially as a point guard. Speak to what kind of player you've always wanted to be and the work you put in to become that type of player. Was it a specific type of point guard, or was it just a player in general that you want to have a like certain impact on the floor?
I feel like I've always been taught, like me as a person, I have a servant mindset. So being a point guard is easy for me. Because one, I know myself, I can score whenever I want. But as a leader and as a floor general, you can't win a game by yourself. So it's my job to make sure the four around me are confident getting to do what they, bring to the table. And as they're starting to feel good about themselves, everyone's focusing on them. Now it's my time. Let me show you what I can do. And it's about picking the right times, but I've always been an impact kind of player, making sure, everyone's as confident, because if they don't believe in what they bring to the table, somebody's going to be left hungry. And if you're at my table, you're going to eat with me.
Exactly.
I'm in charge of the table, right? So I've always been that type of player, and I always play to win, whether that means I have 30, whether that means I have 10 and 10, or whether that means I have 5 and whatever. But I've always been able to play to win. I'm not really much of a numbers person. I can put up numbers, no problem, but that's not what I lace them up to go do. Like, I lace them up to go win. And I make sure my job is always to make sure people are involved. And if you're not bringing the right effort that it takes to win this game, I'm going to let you know, like, hey, you got to step it up. It's just, so I'm more of a, I guess you could say, impact player. And especially after his injury, having to do it on both sides of the floor, like demanding them, like, yo, we sitting on that. It ain't no easy focus around here. Like, you have to put in work. It's like so many people want the highlights, they want the glory of it, but it's like, yeah, you can score. And there's a lot of people who can score, but they suck at defense.
Yeah.
But can you lock somebody up? That's where the pride, that's where the real players show up at. Yeah, you can score, but can you stop someone from scoring? You drop 40, but give up 80, you still lose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just, realizing that you got to put in hard work on both sides of the floor. And that to me is what's key. That's what took me from being on most people's scout as just a shooter. I went from averaging the 8 to averaging 16 and 6 just because of just defense. And you know, that impacts everybody else too. That gets everybody else hyped. And when the whole team hyped, the whole gym rocking, it's a wrap basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of the type of player that I want to be and continue to be for the rest of my career.
Right. I mean that's amazing because I think about like being a point guard and being small, you know, like, and I mean I hate even trying to, you know, compare and make it a difference between like men and women, because when it comes to any sport, like, you know, hooping especially, like, it's just you can hoop. Like, yeah, you know, of course men are naturally like always like, you know, bigger or taller, but I mean even more so like being small, like you said, having to find other ways like to make an impact. Like I wasn't about to go out and necessarily be, I mean, I could kill somebody, but I'm not about to be necessarily, you know, going crazy on every person. I'm not about to drop 30, 40 every game. And it don't mean I don't got the skill, but like it's easy to trap, you know, like a double team, you know, a little nigga kind of like, you know, pause him for a little bit, like put him on hold. But again, you take pride in like, all right, like, yeah, I'm gonna get my teammates involved. And that's like being a selfless player, like I could definitely relate to that. Like I much rather would get an assist, you know, than a bucket. And it's crazy because like as I got older, no, I wasn't playing collegiately or nothing like that. But I know I got to a point where I started like looking to get a bucket more. Because there was a time where like I wouldn't look to really score. Like I would just shoot open shots. It wasn't until like,
well, I know you passed up a lot of shots to
you
just
know,
make it
but
count. Yeah.
right. But it's crazy because that was really a part of my like how I got coached in high school. In high school, I got coached to where like a coach didn't kind of like teach me to find ways to get my bucket. The coach kind of told me like, you're a point guard, you small, this your purpose. But kind of like coming off of that, how would you kind of like rate your experiences with coaches just throughout your career? Like, did you have any coaches that were very instrumental in terms of really investing in you? Did you encounter any coaches that kind of just, you know, like wasn't there for real or wasn't really kind of catering to you or investing in you as a player or even as a person? So kind of speak to your experience with coaches.
Yeah. So I would say probably the coach that had the most influence in my life is my trainer. He's actually like a father figure to me as well. I call him Papa Bear, but he taught me the mental side of the game. And he taught me how to get my buckets at will, because he was like, you work too hard for your buckets. Like you drop 30, 40 and be exhausted. You know, you can work hard, but also work smart. And still to this day, he invests that killer mentality in me. And I would say him, and then the coach I have now at SEMO, she also put something in me. We were talking about just basketball, and she's like, you know, Carrie, you humble. You know, you real humble. I was like, yeah, you know, like I don't get too high, I don't get too low. Like she explained to me, she's like, and she knows I love Rihanna, but she's like, if you notice Beyonce, she's humble, but when she's on stage, she's like this is her show. She's running her show. And so she's like, you need to have that alter ego that lets you allow that killer to come out, because I'm so good at like just containing it. So it's funny. So I made me a little playlist to just like remind me of like who I am. Like that dog, boom, took off from that. So them two probably I think had the most impact on my career as coaches, like growing up. There's also like Coach Porter. Coach Porter, you know, always bringing the spiritual side back into it to, you know, show me that, you know, you can't let what's going on right now stop you from getting to the next spot that you want to be at. So I had like those three that was just there. But it's hard because, you know, as a head coach, most coaches, they're, you know, they love you, they love your players, they want to do what they can for you, but they're trying to win. You know, at the end of the day, they don't win games, they lose their job. They can't provide for their family. And I totally understand that. And I aspire to be a coach one day, but that's not how I'm going to run my program. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's a job. I get that, but you win with people. If your people don't believe in you and your vision and they don't feel the same way, how can you expect them to give you everything? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I took some notes from coaches along the way, and I just know the coach that I want to be, and I just know I'm going to be really good at it. So.
Yeah, now that's where no, you definitely will be. I definitely can see you coaching. Yeah, you're gonna be good. You're gonna be fine. But
Yeah.
what's so? Does this alter ego have a name? Did you give it a name or you just?
Oh man, I did, but it was something goofy because I forgot what it was. Something that didn't even make sense. Like I literally laughed as I said it. But but my playlist, I tell you, is composed of Nicki Minaj. To me, she has those bars that just hit you like what,
Yeah,
like
like old Nikki. You talk like old Nikki.
kind of both. 'Cause
I mean, no, yeah, Nikki definitely still got some recent stuff that's fire. I
yeah,
ain't
so I
disrespecting.
mean,
I ain't disrespecting now.
like there's one bar from Chunli's like you playing checkers, you couldn't beat me playing chess. Like it's just like bars like that.
Yeah,
There's a lot of old Nicki that just gets me going too. So it's just like hearing that I'm just like, why am I even like I'm not even like let's listen to why am I even who are you? Like, did you make the scout? No, okay, I'm not worried. You know what I'm saying? It just brings like that killer bad. It's like, oh man, we're gonna hoop. I do this. Like, and then this ain't new. So
right. Okay. Okay. So kind of like a double-sided question. Favorite part of your game, or like the part of your game you just really, really love, either that you feel like you had naturally or that you developed, and then the part of your game that you like are still working on. That's like the one thing. Like, nah, like I gotta get this. Like, this is the one thing I really want to add to my game.
my favorite part of my game. Um I'd say honestly, I love throwing dimes, so give me wrong, I do. But I just like I fell in love with it. Just my ability to score in ISO situations. Like
Hey,
like I can tell you what I'm gonna do and still get the shot off and still get the bucket. Like that's especially if we're behind the three and I'm on off the dribble. That's my favorite part of the game. My ability to score off the dribble, whether that's a shot or get to the bucket. Part of my game that I still want to get better at is still for me is like defense, like having my hands active as they can be. Cause I'm real good with timing it. So I'm really good at like demanding you to do what I want you to do, but anticipating a little more. I'm still a little hesitant on that. So I would say I'm still working on that part, like the anticipation of the defensive end. But offense, man, that injury made me fall in love with the three. So I'll be out there just stroking it down. I don't care where I'm at. But I leave me open, I'm shooting.
hey, look, nah, it'd be like that, but no, that ISO game. Look, if you, because everybody don't have it, and everybody's
Mm-hmm.
not able to get their shots off or get to where they want on the floor, and that's something. And that's why I said, like, as I got older, like the later years, and I'm looking like mad you left because I know you would have saw it. You would have been like, bro, why weren't you doing this like 3 years ago? But no, because
Mm-hmm.
it got to a point where I just started being more comfortable with moves. And I just started like but it took a while for me to realize like, oh, I can get my own shot, or like, I can get here if I want to. Not so much at will, but like I can turn it on and off. Like you said, like when you need to, like if I need to go get buckets, I can. It's got to a point where I'm like just comfortable. So it's like when you got moves in your bag and you know, like like you said, I can tell you, I'm gonna hit you with this in and out, double cross. I don't care if you see it coming from a mile away. You can be right there. I'm getting the shot off. And if the shot get off, it's like an 85% chance it's going in. So I'm gonna live with the chances any day for me. Cause I used to just practice them. Or like people used to hate, like, I used to come on the left side. I'm a rondo that bitch every time. And everybody used to get mad because they like, he do that same layup, can't nobody block it. I'm like, cause you never
It
gonna
works.
it. And I've been doing that layup since I was like 12. You know what I'm saying? So it's just at this point, it's a muscle memory, like, oh, toss it up here, know how to spin it if I need to. But it was a go-to for me. But it's just crazy to think about how like your game develops over time. And that's just people that play regularly. Even if you play collegially, professionally, like sometimes looking back and realizing like, yo, like I thought I had something at this age, but I wasn't doing nothing at all. Like, and I'm looking at what I know now. That's another thing. So when did you become a student of the game? Like, it's a lot of people play and learn how to play. And you can learn how to play the game all day. But when did you become a student of the game, like learn the in and outs and really fall in love with that part of it?
I would say that because I started AAU that after my high school, freshman year in high school, it had to been after that because Again, I'm from small town Missouri playing basketball. I'm having 2 to 3 girls defend me every night.
Right.
So I learned as a freshman in high school how to beat a boxing one, a triangle and two, or jump defenses. Like, so I had to learn all that stuff early. So it was nothing. And then at Mizzou, I learned a lot, especially about like what to look for, how to make the defense do this, learning the rotation and stuff. So I learned a lot, especially at Mizzou under Coach Pinchton and her staff. And it's just like, man, like I was able to add that to what I already knew, plus this new style of play. So when I got to SEMO, I'm like, okay, they're running this. I know what that rotation most likely going to be. I can get this shot or I can get this player this shot. So, and that made it a lot easier too. It's like, if you know what the defense is going to do and their tendencies, you can use that. I mean, it's no different than any other thing taking advantage of that skill. But I became a student of the game freshman year in high school.
That's real. And I think like and I'm glad that you said that, because it's a lot of people, like when you hear a story of the greats, like the GOATs, they've been a student of the game. They've been a student of the game for years, like way before. Like I remember, like, I'm that's all the time, and I'm thinking about when you hear stories about like Kobe, Mike, Bron, even like Kobe was a student of the game at 15, 16.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Mike, student of the game, sophomore, junior in high school, like learning the game to a point where it's a science, like, and it's literally like once you understand the game at that point, it's very difficult for anybody to have an upper hand on you. You know what I'm saying? And so that's, I just feel like that's extremely important for all players. Like playing is one thing and learning like how to play, but become a student. Like learn how all these other players, like the players you idolize now, understand that their games all come from players back in the day. Like, so if you're not, looking at, MJ game tape, or if you're not looking at Scottie Pippen game tape, like Isaiah Thomas game tape, stuff like that, especially for PGs like Stockton, players like that, like you gotta realize all the players now, they learn from them. Like that's what they was watching growing up. So what's the plans now? Like I know we was talking about it before, but what are you getting ready to do? Are you excited about that? And kind of what are your feelings about it, and like what are you up to accomplish?
So right now I have an agent. I recently signed to an agency, J agency, and now I'm working out, trying to stay in shape and still make sure my jumper is still tuned up because I plan on playing overseas. It was hoping to look like Ireland. We're still hoping for Ireland, but there's the whole Corona thing. There's a ban on foreign travelers. So once that clear up and we get more details on that offer, most likely we'll sign with that. And I'm excited. It's good to hoop all over the world. We hoop because we love the game. It's like, man, now you get to hoop and get paid for doing it. And most people don't get that experience. And so I'm very, very blessed to do that and continue to start that. And from what I started was just, take care of my mom, take care of my family. So use that as long as I can.
Man, nah, but that's well deserved. I mean, like I said, from seeing you at Mizzou, like our freshman year, because we was the same year. So from like from seeing you there, it was just like, nah, like because people like you make it, and I think that's a big big difference. Like some people just got it. Like it's the work ethic, it's the will. It's like nah, they not the standout that everybody necessarily pays attention to, but they not gonna accept no for an answer. Like they not gonna stop till they get what they want to get. So well deserved, and I'm nowhere near surprised you about to get paid to do the thing you love. So that's amazing. The final question I ask every single person that I interview, because it's the whole purpose of why we doing this. But Carrie Shephard, why are you qualified?
I'm qualified, one, because God told me I'm qualified. Two, because the work I put in and the confidence that I bring and the swagger that I have. I realize and I embrace who I am 100%. I'm my number one supporter. And I believe in myself. And that rubs off on everybody. So regardless of what room I'm in, I'm going to be who I am. I'm going to bring what I bring to the table. And if you don't like this, so fine, I'll go find a bigger table and go eat there. So that's why I'm qualified.
Definitely go find a bigger table. I'm gonna have to, we're gonna have to get that quote out here somewhere, but for sure. But man, no, thanks again so much, Carrie, for coming on and talking to me. I love having people tell their stories. I'm glad that I know a small part of your story and was able to still, reach out and have you be able to tell everybody else. But yeah, I'm just thankful and appreciative. So thanks again for taking the time to sit down and let me ask you a couple questions, man.
Man, appreciate for reaching out to me, man. You make sure you stay living out there. Don't get that wrong.
Oh no, hey, look, I gotta be smooth. I gotta stay inside. I be having my mask. I don't be playing around. You know, Como is cool. You know, it ain't as bad, but you know, I don't want to take no chances. So, nah, I'm staying safe. I hope you staying safe as well, and I hope everything calm down so you can get over to Ireland, man. Start killing them over there with that 3-ball.
Yeah, me too.
Because, all right, well, that's another interview, y'all. Definitely go check out Carrie. Her socials will be either on this screen somewhere or they'll be in the description as this video is posted. But definitely follow her, support her, and everything. And shoot, until next time, peace.
All right, appreciate that.
For sure.